The next topic is called capital budgeting. This is probably one of the most important topics we're going to cover in this class. This is where corporations do very deep research on projects that they're going to be getting into or thinking about getting into in the future. Things like additional plant and equipment, merger acquisitions, different markets, different products. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use the financial methodologies that we went over previously, IRR, MIR, NPV, and we're going to also now figure out our after-tax cash flows that are going to be generated from these projects. So what we're going to be coming up with then is after-tax cash flows that include depreciation, and that's known in the industry as EBITDA, which is EBITDA, EBITDA, earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. Because a cash flow is different from net income in the fact that to get a cash flow, we take net income and we add back non-cash charges like depreciation, which we didn't really pay. So to figure out our capital budgets, our capital budgeting for projects, we're going to first have to figure out those after-tax cash flows, and then we're going to use financial methodologies, which include time value of money techniques, to figure out what then the present value of all the income and expenses is going to be, and the percentage return on investment. Our next topic is cost of capital. There are four sources of capital that corporations tend to use, not necessarily all four, but they use a mix of these to come up with the financing for their assets. You've got common stock, preferred stock, retained earnings, and debt. And normally, most corporations do not use an all-equity approach because that's very expensive, and you'll see why when we get into this. But they'd like to use all debt, but the banks won't let them do that. They have to have some skin in the game. So they use a mix of debt and equity components to figure out what they call average weighted cost of capital is. The average weighting is done by what percent of their total assets is financed by debt and what percent is by equity and what types of debt, what types of equity. And we come up with a final number, and that's what we're going to use to figure out, is that too high, too low? Can we reduce it to increase our income? And also, do we want to change our mix of what our current capital structure is, or is it optimal? The next topic is lease versus purchase. A lot of corporations have to make that decision. Should I buy this asset or should I lease it? And we're going to go into the ins and outs of both of the options there as to whether or not it is viable and more profitable for a corporation to lease or to purchase. And the final set of topics are going to be an inventory management type of topic called economic order quantity. This is to determine the optimal level of inventory that you should have and when you should reorder if necessary. We're also going to be doing a intertemporal cash budget to figure out a specific set of months that a corporation is going to be cash budgeting, and flows that are coming into that, flows that are going out of it from previous months, and flows that are going to be going out from future months. Finally, we're going to talk about bankruptcy. Hopefully we never run into that, but there's two types, full liquidation and reorganization, and we're going to talk about the ins and outs of both of those. And all of this is going to be used to try to get a good perspective on the next financial course that's going to be offered, which is sustainability finance. And that's primarily going to be a capital budgeting type class. You've got all the tools to figure out project analysis. So when corporations are talking about going green and is it profitable to do so, we're going to look at the ins and outs of that. And we're also going to be talking about B Corps in that course. This course, one 602, is basically the standardized managerial finance course for an MBA program. So we're going to get specific to sustainability and green projects in the next course, but we needed these tools to be able to actually do a good job of analyzing green projects and sustainability projects that are going to be introduced in the next course. I hope this gives you an idea of what this course is going to be involved with. Again, I'm going to be showing you how to use your calculator, and hopefully we can get some really good ideas here for the next course. And look forward to working with you, and talk to you later.